Those moments change you far more than any trophy or applause ever could, because they reveal a hidden reservoir of strength inside you. My inspiration came from watching Rocky get back up again and again, not from the moments when he was victorious but from the moments he refused to stay down. If a 2-minute scene from a movie could inspire me to reshape my entire life, maybe my story could be the same spark for someone else out there. We all have stories of struggle and pain, but most of us hide them behind carefully curated images of perfect lives on social media. I chose to talk about my dungeon, my darkness, my failures, because those are the parts that make me real and relatable. Mental toughness isn't something you try on like a jacket. It's something you live and breathe, especially when no one is watching. Hard moments will come for everyone, and they force you to confront your insecurities and the false comforts you've been clinging to. When that happens, instead of running to your comfort zone, you must train your mind to stay put and fight through the storm. It's in those dark, lonely moments when you realize just how far you've come and how much further you still can go. When I walk into a room now, I know I bring with me decades of work, sacrifice, failure, and relentless growth. Things no medal or trophy can truly represent. I don't care how the world sees me anymore because I finally found the missing piece that I had been searching for my whole life. I thought I needed money, fame, admiration, and material things, but all I really needed was the courage to look in the mirror and face my own reflection. My true work ethic was built at a kitchen table, alone, wrestling with subjects I didn't understand and refusing to accept defeat. I wasn't satisfied with merely passing. I wanted to dominate, and I was willing to put in 10 times more effort than anyone else to get there. When you can outwork someone who seems smarter or more talented simply by grinding longer and harder, you realize you can achieve anything. My real transformation wasn't in the gym or on a racetrack but in those late-night study sessions with piles of empty notebooks that I filled with every ounce of my effort. When I look back at those notebooks now, I see my life story, my evolution, my proof that hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard. It wasn't until illness forced me to stop moving that I finally had time to reflect on everything I had done and what it all meant. I went from being a superhuman endurance athlete to someone who couldn't get out of bed, and that shift forced me to confront my inner emptiness. I realized that I had never allowed myself to appreciate how far I had come or to celebrate the battles I had survived. Instead of pausing to savor my victories, I would just move on to the next challenge, never feeling truly fulfilled or present. When I finally recognized the distance I had traveled, from a broken, overweight, bullied kid to a powerful, self-made warrior, I knew I needed to honor that journey. In that quiet space, away from noise and competition, I could finally see that I had covered thousands of metaphorical miles and achieved more than I ever imagined. But if you never take time to acknowledge that growth, you remain mentally stuck in the same place you started, no matter how much you accomplish externally. It's in those silent, solitary moments, when life is squeezing you and you're gasping for air, that you find your true strength and resilience. When you're being choked by adversity and you manage to stay calm, looking for solutions instead of giving up, that's when you truly evolve. Life's grip can feel unrelenting, but every time you figure out a way to escape or endure, you unlock a new level of mastery over yourself. Overcoming isn't about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down, about refusing to accept defeat even when the odds feel impossible. The road to getting there is often more brutal than the destination itself, but it's that road that shapes you into someone unrecognizable to your former self. The journey is what molds you, scars you, and builds you into someone who can thrive in any environment, no matter how harsh. The pain is the true sculptor of your soul, carving away the weaknesses and revealing the powerful core underneath. In the end, it's not about arriving somewhere safe or comfortable. It's about becoming someone who can survive and grow anywhere, under any condition. The real prize is not a medal, not a certificate, not applause, but the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you are unbreakable. When you can walk through hell with a smile and keep moving forward, that's when you've truly won the game of life. That is how I live. The harsh reality is that most people don't want to see you succeed because your success shines a light on their own lack of effort and commitment. People will try to tear you down, not because you're doing something wrong but because they feel threatened by your progress and potential. Over time, I learned to pause before reacting to critics and haters because their words often come from a place of deep insecurity and inner darkness. People who are happy and successful never spend their time tearing others down because they're too busy building themselves and helping others grow. The ones who attack you are often deeply unhappy, and their criticisms are more about them than they are about you. When you study these people carefully, You realize they are stuck in a place of darkness and misery, and you don't need to take their words personally. As you become more successful and visible, you become an open target for criticism from people who have never dared to dream big themselves. Those who judge and hate from a distance are almost always people who have achieved very little and feel powerless in their own lives. Their words sting only if you give them power. Otherwise, they're just noise from people who can't match your courage or dedication. One thing I've realized is that you will never encounter a hater who is doing better than you, because those who thrive don't have time to hate. I even started collecting these hateful messages, turning them into motivational fuel to push myself even harder toward my goals. It was a strange but powerful ritual. I would listen to their words, and instead of breaking me down, they would ignite an unstoppable fire inside me. I realized that they hated me because I represented everything they wished they could be but were too afraid to pursue. By continuing to succeed, I forced them to confront their own shortcomings, and that confrontation hurt them more than any words they could throw at me. On days when I felt like skipping a workout or taking it easy, I would play those messages and remind myself exactly why I must keep going. Their hate became a playlist of motivation, a twisted symphony that drove me deeper into the discomfort they could never endure. I learned to find humor in their words, to use them as a joke and a weapon at the same time, empowering me instead of weakening me. Facing daily challenges became an art form, a spiritual practice, where I had to believe in myself over and over again with each sunrise. True belief isn't about standing in front of a mirror chanting empty affirmations. It's forged in the fires of real hardship and undeniable evidence of your effort. The only way to build real confidence is to look at a mountain of proof that you can survive the unimaginable and keep moving forward. That proof isn't abstract. It's the calluses on your hands, the scars on your soul, the moments of loneliness and pain you endured in silence. When people say you should wake up and shout affirmations, that might work for some, but what works for me is knowing that I have an unbreakable resume of suffering and triumph. Every scar, every moment of fatigue, every victory earned through sweat and tears becomes a building block of an indestructible mindset. I believe in taking the path of most resistance because each difficult step prepares me for even bigger challenges and cements my mental armor. Through endless hard work, I learned that no one is unbeatable. You can outwork the strongest and smartest if you are willing to go further into the pain than anyone else. You must confront the places that scare you, not avoid them, because that is where real strength and confidence are born. The comfort zone is a dangerous trap. It creates a false sense of security that crumbles the second life throws real adversity your way. True confidence came to me not from success but from countless nights alone at a kitchen table, struggling to read and write, doubting every sentence but refusing to quit. I realized that I couldn't learn like everyone else, but I could still learn if I was willing to put in more hours, more effort, and more heart than anyone else. My self-belief grew not from mastery but from the willingness to fight every single day, to fall, get back up, and face the fear again. Even on days when I didn't overcome the challenge fully, the act of facing it repeatedly taught me that courage is not the absence of fear but the mastery of it. I began to see that real growth didn't happen in moments of comfort but in those endless hours of struggle, where I felt like giving up every minute. My confidence wasn't something I found in a book or a motivational speech. It was something I carved out of suffering and repeated confrontation with my own weaknesses. The more I ventured into discomfort, the stronger and more unshakable I became, until pain itself became a teacher instead of an enemy. I started to understand that true happiness and peace aren't found in external rewards or applause. They are found in mastering your own mind. The enlightenment we seek is not in escaping struggle but in embracing it so deeply that we become immune to the noise and chaos around us. The real challenge in life is not physical but mental. If your mind is strong enough, your body will follow without question. There is no ceiling on the human mind except the one you create for yourself with your fears, doubts, and excuses. When most people are on the verge of quitting, that's the exact moment when I'm just starting to warm up and get into my flow. Flipping that mindset, learning to start when others stop, is what separates the truly unstoppable from the rest. When your mind learns to love the hard moments, your body has no choice but to obey and follow along, no matter how exhausted it feels. Each day, I set challenges for myself designed to chip away at my fears until they had no power over me anymore. Every fear I faced and conquered made me feel more alive, more in control, and more at peace with the fact that nothing external could truly defeat me. I learned that speaking hollow words about strength and toughness is easy, but living it every single day is the only way to make it real. I stopped using empty phrases and started turning every thought and emotion into meaningful, powerful actions that could not be denied. When fear whispered to me, I took it as a direct order to run toward that fear instead of away from it, knowing that every encounter would forge me stronger. Life is one giant mind game, and the only opponent worth fighting is the part of yourself that wants to stay comfortable and safe. Never forget where you came from, no matter how high you climb, because that memory fuels your drive and anchors your humility. My mission became showing people that discomfort and failure are not enemies but the most honest teachers you will ever have in this life. When you embrace these harsh lessons instead of avoiding them, you gain a new kind of power that cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. It's the moments when you get knocked down and stand back up, bruised and bloody, that define who you are and what you will become.